So today's video is all about podcasts and especially video podcasts. Now, with YouTube being the second most visited website worldwide, it's no surprise that more and more companies are turning their audio podcasts into video or vice versa. A video podcast can be made by adding any kind of video element to the audio version. So this can be uploaded to YouTube to expand your audience and allow more people to find you. After all, out of people who listen to a lot of podcasts, by which we mean over 5 hours a week, 19% discover their content most often through YouTube. But why choose video for your podcast? Well, along with expanding your audience and improving your online visibility, there are a wealth of benefits. First of all, video improves engagement. We've spoken about this in many of our videos to date, and it's so true. You can post video clips on your social media feeds to promote your podcast, which are instantly going to be more engaging than just posting audio clips. Audio is automatically muted, so when you scroll through your feed, you're already having a visual element that's going to help grab people's attention if it's video. Plus, video has more viral tendency. You never know when you're going to become TikTok famous overnight. What's more, video allows your personality to shine. Showing your face to your audience builds trust and gives them more of an insight into you and your brand. Humans are hardwired to look for faces, so this will help to create a connection with your viewers and it will allow them to relate to your content. Video requires your full attention. When your audience chooses to watch a video over listening to an audio podcast, it requires their full attention on your content. Although this may detract some people who like to listen to podcasts as they do other things, it does mean that anyone who chooses to watch will be fully engaged with your content. Finally, if you're already recording an audio podcast, adding a video element doesn't actually have to be a whole lot of extra effort. We'll go through the different types of video podcasts shortly, but it can be as simple as adding a static image to your audio recording and then uploading that to YouTube. So now you know why you need a video podcast, but how do you go about successfully creating one? Well, here's a couple of our top tips. And trust me, we know what we're talking about because we've got our own podcast. Check it out, the Videography Network. Now, to start off, choose your format. There may be many different types of video podcasts that you can choose, and it's a good idea to pick one before you even think about recording so you can make your plan accordingly. First up is adding a static image or PowerPoint slides. This is by far the easiest and fastest way to get your podcast out on a different platform. Simply add a single image to your original audio recording and upload to YouTube or your chosen video platform. You can also add audiograms. This is another really simple and easy way to add a visual element to your podcast that allows you to upload it to a video platform. Next up is Monologue podcast. So you're recording a solo podcast or simply film yourself talking to camera. Remember to keep it dynamic and engaging so that your audience doesn't get bored. You can also record in-studio interviews. This usually involves a host and a guest sitting down for a conversation, and it can be filmed with one or more cameras in a studio setting. If you're talking to your guest over Zoom or the equivalent software, this can be recorded as well, and you can use it for a Talking Heads podcast. Again, this is usually involving a host and a guest. You can also intersperse other footage throughout for a B-roll and interview combination. This helps to keep things interesting and varied, and it gives your viewer extra context for whatever it is that your host or guest is talking about. And finally, if you've had a lot of time on your hands, you can create an animated video for your podcast. And this obviously requires more resources than other options, but it can result in a very entertaining and engaging piece of content. Next, if you have chosen to film your podcast in studio, it's worth thinking about how to optimize your studio setup. This is an important part of ensuring that final content looks professional and appealing. Try to make sure you have adequate lighting, that your backdrop is visually attractive, not too distracting, and also make sure that however you set up to film, you can clearly see the faces and you can capture all the natural reactions that your audience wants to see. If you've only got one camera, make sure it's focused on the guest more than the host. No one cares about the host. And on that note, if you can afford the equipment and the additional editing time, try to use multiple cameras. This will create a more interesting visual for your viewers as you can switch between different points of view throughout the video. It can also be useful to hide awkward cuts when you're editing and make the whole thing look more natural and come together smoothly. Editing is also a really important part of the process. Most video editing software will allow you to edit both the audio and visuals, helping you refine your podcast. You can cut out irrelevant content and any awkward noises and adjust adjust the sound levels to get your audio just right. It's also worth noting that you can do color correction on the video to get that look and feel that you really want. Finally, you can also add any additional clips or graphics to help get across key points that your guest or your host is speaking about. Now, once your video is ready to publish, you still need to make an eye-catching thumbnail. This is the first thing your viewer will see and plays a large role in whether they decide to click on your video or not. It makes it easily recognizable by using your brand or logo, your colors, and it tries to include text that aligns to the video title and content as well. So you've made your video, you've given it a great thumbnail, and you've uploaded it to your chosen video platform. But the work isn't over yet. Now it's time to share it on social media. Now you can use short clips from the podcast to promote it and let your followers know about this new content that you've been working so hard on. Be sure to tag any guests or anyone that's helped you with the process to further let it fly. Now, creating a great video podcast provides your brand with valuable content as more and more people consume video online than ever before. It's a great way to expand your audience, grow your brand, and most importantly, provide interesting and entertaining information to your viewers. Now, if you need any more tips or help with creating your video podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Incite Video. We'd love to help. We've recently launched some podcast packages. You can find out more information on the link below. Click there and we'll see you soon.